Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a special Comic Art Live event. We haven't done one of these before for ComicLink. Obviously, we've done auction recaps for Heritage in the past, and we just felt like after such a successful auction last Tuesday on ComicLink that it was a good opportunity to review some of the auctions that they had go off last week and kind of do a similar show where we can talk about the auctions that surprised us and the auctions that lots that maybe were good buys, and just get another auction house out there that we can talk about in a similar vein to the other ones that we've done in the past. So let me bring my awesome hosts in here with me. Glenn, Mike, and Will, how are you guys doing this evening?
Good.
Very good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing a special show. We had 2 weeks off, so it was sort of like I haven't seen you guys in a long time. Or maybe it was 3 weeks off. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit.
Been a while.
All right. Well, listen, I did email with Josh after their auction last week and just pitched the idea of, hey, would you mind if we did a show? Because I felt like they had a lot of interesting pieces. And the one thing that I've expressed to you guys too is that it's really hard to really get a gauge on how much sells at ComicLink's auctions because we don't manage their market data and whatnot. But it overwhelmingly to me felt like a great show. So I had asked Josh to give me some data on just kind of an overall picture of the sales data from that show and compare it to the prior 3 featured auctions that they had done. So if you don't mind, I will pull up that little stat and kind of just review it. So the auction that just closed last week, the sales figures were $1.857 million in sales with an average lot price of $6,633. And that compares favorably to the other 3 that were out there. The fall featured auction that I thought did pretty well too, but I didn't know the stats overall. That particular auction was at 1.5 million and a little bit more with an average lot price just under 5,000. So the summer feature auction seemed to be a little slow, but I think that's kind of normal in the hobby with summer auctions. And then the spring auction for them was pretty solid at just over 1 million in sales. So clearly, their sales are on the uptick, even with about 40 less lots compare winter to their fall. So I think we're seeing a similar trend with ComicLink as we've seen.
Are those lots those stats are they the comic lots as well, or was that just original art? Just original art.
And I did go back and I went back and confirmed that on them as well, because that was my first question. I'm like, wow, that's a little bit higher than even I was expecting it to be.
Right.
And yeah, I did. I went back and nope, that's the 280 lots. Was it 280? Sorry, I don't have that. There we go. 280 lots in the most recent auction.
So that's interesting. So the spring, the first at the bottom of the page here, you've got the spring auction. And that was like when was that? Like last March or something like that, when COVID just started?
Yeah. Right. I know he didn't give me a date on that, but I'm going to guess it was probably April, May. Yeah. But
okay. So that's interesting because in summer, just normally you'd expect the lots to go down, the stuff to go down, but by summer, I mean, all of us as dealers were feeling increases in sales, because COVID was hitting hard and everybody was in lockdown, and so it's kind of unusual that from spring to summer, the auction, that sales went down. Like I would have expected expected just sort of a straight trajectory, but it seems like there was like a bit of a blip here, and then obviously fall and winter were really good.
Right. Well, looking at it too, I look at the, again, I didn't analyze this closely myself, but the summer auction definitely had less lots, 225 lots compared to 279.
Right.
Yeah. Because the average item price isn't too drastically different, but you can look at that spring 2020 where it had 279 lots and compare that to the winter 2021 with 280. So the lots are pretty comparable, but it's an extra $800,000 in revenue. I mean, almost to the dollar. So that's pretty. Yeah, that's surprising.
One thing that was interesting with this most recent auction was you did have a Frazetta piece. So I believe that was about $300,000.
Right. That's right.
That's jumped up. It basically added 300,000 to that total.
Yeah.
Right. So if we took that out, we'd still be at 1.52.
It'd be like the same as the fall feature. Pretty close.
Pretty close.
Got it. But again, with fewer lots, so the average auction price is still pretty solid.
Still higher, yeah. It's really luck of the draw, as all of us know. It's really what's in there, luck of the draw. In this particular auction, the most recent one, we had several high dollar value items. I mean, the Frazetta, things like the first Silk cover, a couple X-Men pages, Jim Lee and Byrne. I mean, we had a few, $50,000 to $100,000+ items, and that certainly brought the average lot price up.
Well, it definitely draws a lot more attention to the overall auction as well. When you can bring in some high-profile items like that, it's going to, that should always raise the bar. I mean, I know that. I mean, Heritage always focuses in on 5 or 6 really important pieces to kind of get everybody interested and get them to the auction, and that has to kind of raise all lots right at the same time when you're getting those extra buyers and their attention on the auction itself. Exactly. Are you raising your hand, or is that that's the lots raising? All right.
All boats, right? All boats.
Ooh.
Exactly.
You're showing your age, Mystic. Well, your horse shack or somebody.
I've not watched that in a long time. And so why don't we? So I agree. I mean, you're right. But that's always going to skew things. I'm sure if we went back and looked at some of the Heritage auctions a little bit more closely, there's always going to be 1 or 2 pieces that seem to skew the numbers and make them look better. But in general, I thought that this ComicLink auction had a lot of good hype behind it as far as just from the pieces that were there.
Strong auction. It was a very strong auction. I was just pointing out that the Frazetta, I don't recall seeing many Frazettas in ComicLink, for example, and that that was 1/6 of the total sales right there for art. So
correct, and I think that I mean, I have no idea who the seller was or whatnot, but I believe that was in their marketplace for a little while before it went up for the auction, because we started importing ComicLink's marketplace data or inventory probably about 2 years ago, and I was always kind of just checking it to make sure it worked and sorting by highest price to lowest, and so I'm pretty sure I'd seen that in there, so it was out there for a little while before it went up for auction. So,
Bill, do you have an image of the fake Silver Surfer 19 cover? Do you want to talk about that one first? Because they're in the comments. Mike just brought up the Surfer. The one, I don't know if you queued that up, but it had a logo, the Surfer 19, and it was a Silver Surfer commission by Buscema. It did like $12,000 in the auction.
It wasn't.
I know which one you're talking about.
Cover. It was a commission. I think.
Yeah, it's just a commission that Buscema did, and they just put a fake logo on it.
Well, I mean, I'd like to talk about that because I was the one that commissioned that piece.
Right, I do remember. That's why Glenn, I remember you chiming in on the Facebook group, I think, where that kind of came up. I can, sorry, I have to get to that image. And let's see here. Sorry, I had it queued up for something at the beginning.
Oh, no problem. Sorry, I threw a monkey in your wrench.
Yes, you did. That's all right.
That's it.
That was the one? Okay.
Yeah. So, it had a logo in the auction. It had a logo on it that said Silver Surfer 19. And I mean, I'm sure that all the bidders were well aware this was not like, the prepared Surfer 19 cover that was never used, but it did sort of add to, at any rate, there's a panel in, I think it's Silver Surfer 15 of the Silver Surfer on that board, exactly like that. And I wanted, John Buscema would do recreations for like $500 back in the day in like 1998. And I mean, it was incredibly cheap, but the caveat was you couldn't ask for something creative. You had to ask for an image that was already drawn, and he would recreate it for you, like one of his own images. So I always loved this panel. I loved this pose of the surfer on the board, and I thought it would be fun to have Galactus behind him. And what I did was I took an image of Galactus, exactly that image from the Surfer graphic novel that Jack Kirby had drawn, and I with a copy machine. I blew it up, and I blew up the surfer panel as well, so that they literally, sort of would fit together. And I took a scissor and I cut around and placed the Jack Kirby Galactus behind the surfer, and so that basically it was all there. And so what I did was I sent John Buscema an image of that, and I said, just recreate this exactly, because I thought this would be a good way for $500. Instead of spending like $1,000 or $800 to do something, he charged more if he had to put creativity into it. And if he just copied something, then it was less. So for $500, he sent me this. And when I got it in, I kind of like felt like the Kirby and the Buscema didn't really work well together. I didn't really like it, so I let it go. I sold it. I think I probably sold it for about $800 or something like that at the time. And I was surprised to see it pop up in the auction, but way more surprised to see it sell for $12,000.
You didn't consign it? I thought you said you consigned it.
I did not consign it. I commissioned it.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And that was out there, I mean, weeks beforehand, wasn't it? Because I feel like I'd seen you talking about it when other people were asking about it. You let people know the whole story.
Yeah, I think I told that story before, but I never in my wildest dreams did I imagine this would be above 10K, much less 12K.
Yeah. Yeah, that price shocked the heck out of me.
Well, there's a lot of surfer fans out there.
That's higher than almost all his regular cover recreations.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a Silver Surfer 4 cover recreation for less money.
Yeah.
In fact, I know one available right now for $10,000.
This is sort of John Buscema after Brunswick.
Yeah.
Right. I was just going to say, Glenn, maybe you should become an art director. You should.
I think this should be an NFT. It's time for this to be an NFT.
Right. Hey, I mean, it just goes to show you never know. I mean, like you say, you could get a cover recreation that he did a couple of, or you can get something like this that is 100% unique, right? I mean, this sprint, you just explained how you came up with the idea to pitch it to him. So there's not another one out there like it at the end of the day.
That is true.
So I think that really, I mean, you can't get more unique than that. I mean, it wasn't done for a published piece. It was on John's board, and and with your direction, it came into fruition. So, things happen. But I mean,
my name should be on the back as the editor.
That's right. You should be getting a royalty for every.
But think about the one thing about commissions is this usually works against, when you commission something and it's unique, even if it's by a great artist, and you go to resell it because you just don't love it no more, whatever the case is, it often works against the value of it. But in this case, it really didn't. So I don't know. Right. It is an aberration of sorts.
Well, hey, you made $300 profit back then, so it's good sell.
Right. Well, I mean, the main reason I released it was just because I just felt like I made a mistake with like the Kirby and the Buscema. Like I felt like they didn't mesh well together. I prefer my Buscema to be Buscema and my Kirby to be Kirby. So.
Yeah, but think about how many times did John Buscema draw Galactus? It probably went to a Galactus collector. I'm sure.
Could be.
He really didn't do Galactus that many times.
How many times did John Buscema draw Galactus like Jack Kirby? Because that that looks like 70s Kirby.
Yeah.
Right.
Very true.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, sorry to interrupt the production with my crazy henpeck story, but
okay. Start at the top now, Bill. Happy days.
No, that's all right. Well, somebody asked, right? I mean, we should always
That's a great story. I never knew that.
Right.
Well, you're not on Facebook enough, Mike. You just don't.
Yeah.
You got to spend a little bit more time socializing with some of us.
It's not as good as some of your stories that you like to tell in booths, Mike. But that's another episode.
No, that's a whole nother ball of wax right there.
In booths.
Yeah. We'll refresh your memory later.
All right.
All right, so let me. Why don't we start from the top? We can skip over the Frazetta because I know you guys don't like. We don't. Well, honestly, I did pull up one stat because let me pull up the Frazetta because I did look up one little thing on there, and I won't be able to share it. But I took a look at the last year's sales for Frazetta work through auctions, and the closest sale to this one was on Heritage back in May for the Frazetta, the serpent, the woman with the snake kind of on the ground, and that sold for $300,000. So for a Frazetta sale through an auction house, this piece did realize a price higher than any other sale in the last 12 months. So I think that's pretty impressive in and of itself, and something that ComicLink can hang their hat on. I mean, it was 315,000 and change. So I think that's impressive, at least for the last 12 months of sales that were out there from Heritage as well. And I mean, I believe Heritage had a bigger piece, maybe 18, 20 months before that sold for a little, a bit more than that. But at 12 months period, I think that's noteworthy.
Sure.
All right. So then the Spidey cover.
Yay.
Yeah. Everybody's favorite. Now, and looking, sorry, I'm trying to look at 5 different screens all at one time. So, I mean, the sale price on this one was $139, and comparable sales in the last 12 months as well. There were only 3 higher sales than this one at Heritage. One was for the Amazing Spider-Man 51 cover that sold for $312. The the Romita Sr. Esposito Spider-Man 41 Splash that went for $180, and then the Hero for Hire cover that went for $156.
That's right.
Then,
right.
So only those 3 sales in the last 12 months through an auction house.
Publicly.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, there are private sales that are comparable or higher to this piece. It's not like smaller pre-100 covers haven't been trading in this range.
Oh yeah.
Before. It's just that we haven't seen them come to auction.
Right.
And the last 2 that we've seen at auction were covers that didn't have Spider-Man on them, like the Vulture cover that you picked up, Mike, and the Shocker cover.
Right.
And were just like spider signals as opposed to. So this is the first sort of pre-100 cover that's come up in a while that actually has Spider-Man sort of like center, doing his thing on the spider signal, and you got basically the entire cast.
Supporting cast, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, all 3 covers have the spider signal. Maybe there's spider signal collectors out there.
Yeah.
There might
Yeah,
be.
well, might be.
Believe it or not, I won't give numbers, but I actually sold this cover to Josh 4 or 5 years ago at San Diego Con.
You can give numbers.
So that's okay. I bid on this cover, but I didn't get it.
Well,
Right.
yeah, but so and that's funny. I was looking at the other 2 covers. You're right; they had very prominent Spidey signals on them. The 72 and the 63 cover, both going for $84,000.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, look, it's a strong price. I mean, I do feel like probably like the range for these covers at this point is like 125 to 150 for the really good ones that are numbered under 100.
Mm-hmm.
But so 139 is closer to 150 than it is to 125. So it's a pretty good result, I think.
Yeah.
I think any pre-100 cover is going to be tough to get under 100 at this point, which we've all sort of thought anyway, that even over the last year or 2, even when they weren't quite, topping 100, but who was going to give them up for less? That's the problem.
Right.
So
a lot of work went into that cover. Just look at the detail. A lot of work in it. Even just the bricks. It's amazing the detail on just the bricks. And he drew all the way through the logo. I love when Romita does it. Not a lot of guys drew up through the logo. He drew up through the logo on all his stuff. I'm just saying, he's just getting extra art.
If only the whole cover were just bricks, then I'd really be into it.
Yeah. Well, that's the 70 cover just about with the with the Spidey signal too.
There you go. No, but for somebody, this is a very representative cover. I remember, Mike and I were talking the other week how many Spidey covers we've each owned. Mike has me beat. You told me you owned a little over 100 covers, right? Over the years.
I was around 160. Or no, maybe
but that's not at the same. Let's be accurate. That's not at the same time. You
Yeah. No.
In our lifetimes, I've owned about 125 Spider-Man covers.
Okay, I'm at 75.
Yeah.
But But yeah, there was a time where, you know, Romita covers, pre-100 covers, the thing that everybody looked for was Spider-Man versus one of his villains.
Right.
You know, particularly one of his more known villains, but any of his villains, pre-100. So this doesn't fit that criteria, but you do have all the entire supporting cast of characters. So I think for someone, this is a very nice representative pre-100 Spidey cover by Romita.
Right.
Particularly whoever bought it last week.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's take a look. There's a lot of Spider-Man at the top of the sales there from ComicLink. This was the Humberto Ramos the Spider-Man 4 variant cover. It sold for just over $64,000.
Oh,
The $64,000 question. No. Obviously,
Spider-Man
first
was in there.
appearance.
I didn't realize Spider-Man was there.
Yeah.
You can hardly see him, but you know, I think that you know, this is a very interesting market right now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I thought I didn't expect it to go this high, but I mean, there's a lot of people who are really into these storylines, and I think there's a lot of hype around the future of the Marvel franchise and Spider-Man, and that might be playing a bit into some of the enthusiasm.
This character is getting her own movie, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this is first appearance and future expectations of Silk. That's what a lot of that I believe. That's what a good amount of the bidding. You know, when you go above, say, 35,000, I think that's where, you know.
Yeah. No. The really great thing about this piece is Josh mentioned that if anyone purchased this piece for over $50,000, he would connect them with this Sony studio executive so that the owner of this piece could weigh in on the casting of Silk, since that's clearly going to affect the price of this piece moving forward. So, you know, if I had purchased this piece, I would definitely want to be in on the Sony cast. You know, you cast the wrong person. It's like, what did I do?
Yeah, I hear you.
You need a girl with nice hips, boy, looking at that drawing.
Well,
very hippie.
All the magic's in the hips, Mike. What can I say?
Yeah.
I'll mention it to Sony, Mike.
But obviously, a lot of the money out there is in the Marvel art these days, and I'm sure the films are playing a lot into some of the valuations of the art, you know, and the future expectations of it. I mean, I don't think we can get away from that, you know, at this point.
But I mean, you know, if this movie turns out to be more like Catwoman than like a Spider-Man movie, you know, it will definitely change the trajectory of this character.
That's true. Well, so far, I guess Marvel hasn't disappointed me. Maybe
they haven't, but it's Marvel Sony. It's not.
Yeah, you know, that is true. That is true. There's been some disappointments.
And look, some of the movies that they've made, you know, the Sony movies, you know, haven't always.
Right.
They haven't always had the Marvel magic formula like Kevin Feige does. So.
Right.
I don't know. I think
don't start a fight with the gentleman above you, because he will disagree about those Spider-Man movies.
What, the Tobey Maguire movies?
Moving on.
The best movies ever.
Oh.
Marvel movies.
Oh. Moving on, Bill, quickly, please.
Yes. All right.
We're not gonna fight about movies.
Or not, you have a screw loose, but go ahead.
Venom is doing fine, Jason says. That is true. That is very true.
Yeah, but I think Marvel Studios is stomping Sony overall. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, they did end the Amazing Spider-Man franchise because those movies with
Andrew Garfield.
With Andrew Garfield, despite the fact that I thought he was like a really good Peter Parker, were underperforming their expectations. So, yeah. I mean, they didn't even get to that was supposed to be a trilogy. They didn't get to the third movie, and they just rebooted the whole thing. So, you know, it wasn't working for them.
We got the best cast Peter Parker so far currently. So,
because Marvel like weighed in and sort of took control of that.
Exactly.
All right, so here we are with the unpublished version of the first appearance of Carnage.
Right.
Mike,
Right.
would you like to weigh in on this one? Because I think you have more information or more direct information than Glenn or I.
I don't know.
Or don't. I'm just asking. I'm not
yeah.
questioning.
I mean, this is. I don't know if this was drawn before 361. I believe this cover was drawn after 361 came out. So take that however you want. So that's all I'll say about it.
Right. It's
Right.
sale
Well, if
price
that's
was
really true, that makes this a very expensive commission.
Yeah.
Even more expensive than my Silver Surfer commission.
All I know is I owned at one point about half of all the pages, the 361, 2, and 3.
I remember
and Randy
that.
Amberlin offered this to me, and he said he drew it. And this is after the book came out, and I passed on it for like $500 back then. So
Did he mention why he drew it?
No, he just says, "What do you think of this drawing I drew?" And I said, "Oh, that's awful nice."
But why? Like,
I said no, and that was it.
When were the logo? Were the logos on it when he offered it to you?
There was no logo. It was just the drawing.
Okay, so like a restorer came in and put on the logo.
This is around 1990. I don't know, 3 or 4 when I was buying pages from him.
5, yeah, 4 or 5, yeah. Because I was buying a lot of Bagley also at that time. I remember.
So I don't know. I guess the guy to probably ask about this cover is Mark Bagley, but
right.
Well,
Yeah,
Jason in the comments says it was published later as a variant or something.
Yeah, they showed it. They showed it like in the past year or two. They made it a cover.
Yeah,
that is true. I saw that in the listing. It was done as a later variant.
So is this Bagley pencils or it's all Amberlin?
Again, I don't know. All I know is back when this image was offered to me, Amberlin said he drew it. So that's all I know.
Hey, Mike, real quickly, because I know we got to stay on track with these auctions. Did you have the published cover to this at one point? I'm unclear on that.
No, I've never seen I never had the published cover.
And you did not own this. This was offered to you, but you passed.
Correct.
Okay, then you know what it was back then? I think you showed it to me.
I probably did. I think even somewhere in a box I still have the copy Amberlin sent me.
Okay.
It somewhere. But he had no logos. It was just the
because I remember seeing this 25 plus years ago or so.
But it's awesome, and I heard a backstory on this that the buyer that bought it is very happy because it was offered to him way higher than the price he paid for it. So the buyer is very happy at what he paid for it. So
it's a good looking piece.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's just hard, like I said. I think you got to really talk to Bagley to truly know the gist of.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, I think for that kind of money, you should know exactly what it is you're buying, and if it was produced as the first cover before the published cover, then I think that's more significant than if it was produced afterwards. Afterwards, it's just sort of another drawing.
Yeah.
So
all I know is when this was offered to me, I was offered this drawing as an all Amberlin, and I passed on it back in the middle 90s. That's all. Maybe there's another one out there. I don't know. Maybe Amberlin did his own version to try to make a few bucks. I don't know.
Right.
But,
right.
Mark offered
Mark
offered me this that looks just like this, and I passed on it in the middle 90s.
It wouldn't be the first time that Amberlin did that. So
yeah, and I don't think he was deceiving anything.
No.
He just offered me this pinup he drew, and I wanted the published stuff. I said, no, I'd rather have published stuff. I'm not interested. So
right. So you never know at the end of the day.
Yeah, we just don't know.
So here's something non-Spidey.
Yeah.
Conan the Barbarian.
I think people expected this to maybe go a little bit higher. Because
I think so too.
Some of these covers, because this went in the 60s.
I think 61. Did it go for
60? It went for 61. Yeah.
61. Yeah, I mean, these covers have been selling more like 70, 80, 85 in that range. So I think the expectation was this would go a little higher, but I mean, a number of these covers have come up for sale recently. So
condition probably plays into it. Obviously, the fact that the woman tiger is a stat.
It said if I own this, but there's an original underneath it, I think, right?
Well, it says that the cover was clean. So what that says to me is that it was sent to a restorer, and the restorer decided for whatever reason it was not recoverable. Or my assumption is they would have recovered it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say, boy, if I own this piece, I would definitely get it clean, so it looked a little nicer. I mean, I'd pay a good restorer whatever I had to make it look cleaner if it's able to be done.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe that's sort of the best that it can be, and so that factors into the price. I think with that question mark, $60K seems like right on for that piece.
It's a pre 10. It's all berry. It's,
and again, I looked at the last year in sales for.
I think condition, like Glenn said.
Yeah, I think condition was a factor on this one. I mean, didn't a great splash sell for 8?
Condition is a factor, and I think other Barry Windsor-Smith early Conan pieces coming up. There's been several, so maybe people have gotten their fill for the moment.
Right.
Right. I mean, that was like Mike was saying, there was the splash that sold on Heritage in January for $84,000. That was from issue 8 with that one with him riding a horse. But other than that, this would be like the second highest auction result in the last 12 months for a Barry Windsor-Smith Conan piece.
Right.
I think I have to keep more focused on auction results, Bill, and not some of the private sales I know.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, we can only talk public stuff, right? At things that are out there. So I do try to cross-reference the dealer results too when I'm aware of them. But
and I sold a Conan Saga cover privately for $70 last year, so on consignment. So, but I like the older stuff more, but a lot of people like the newer stuff. Newer is it 50s versus 70s.
Fish was just commenting on how nice the bricks are. So not only Romita Sr. can draw bricks, Mike, just so you know.
I like Romita's bricks a lot better than that. That's not really a brick.
You do.
That's not really a brick. Romita darkened all his bricks in.
My favorite bricks are on Ben Grimm personally, but that's
tell Tom he's not leaping, so that's why it's not as valuable. He's not leaping. Me and Tom have a thing where I always tell him it's worth more because the guy's leaping. It's an inside story.
All right. And I did forget that, Mike, that you did have the Conan Saga cover earlier as well. All right. So then this was the McFarlane from Spider-Man 11 that sold for $48,500. And I feel like I've seen this one recently. They're on the market or in someone's collection.
Don't McFarlane splashes typically go for $120,000 per splash? Like, what's going on here?
Believe it or not, I bought this from Rick Magar for $1,200 back in 1994. Who'd have thunk? I went to a local in Ohio. I went to a local in a hotel show, and there's Rick Magar with like 15 McFarlane Spider-Man pages in Akron, Ohio. And I bought this splash from him. When I first met him, I go, how in the heck did you get McFarlane Spider-Man in here? Issue 12 and I think maybe 11, McFarlane was very gracious, was behind deadlines, and flew him out, and he inked those issues, and McFarlane gave him all the pages. And I happen to think Rick Magar is a very underrated and a great artist. I mean, he has the whole feel. I mean, I don't think you could, if you didn't know, I don't think you would even think this wasn't a McFarlane pencil and ink page. It's done ink phenomenally, I thought. So.
That's well done.
Good-looking bricks there, by the way.
Oh, the brick. Right. Well, that's like a Romita brick there.
That is the theme of the night, isn't it?
It's more like a McFarlane brick, but sure, it's a Spider-Man brick.
Well, I think Romita gave him a couple of copies of some of his art, and he did it to perfection, yeah.
And this is Mike's view of the world. It all goes back to Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
didn't we have an episode like 6 months ago? We were all talking about moons. I think in art, Will, were we talking about moons? There was like the moon in drawings. I thought there was an X-Men page.
No, I think it was something else. I don't think it was moons, but I don't recall.
Or planets. We were talking about planets.
Okay, I think that's right.
It was all about planets in the background.
Oh yeah, that episode. Yeah, there was an it was an auction review.
Yes, it was. It was. We kept seeing planets in the background. Yeah.
The theme of the night is bricks.
Splash. That's a great
It's
splash.
going to be our auction review theme. Is we're going to find some commonality.
But my whole point is on this one, selling for 48 grand, and people knew Magyar inked McFarlane, and I don't think it affected the value whatsoever. I mean, it's great. And like I said, penciler is the penciler, and it's McFarlane. So,
Well, it's not my favorite image of McFarlane, but I mean, I have to say this given that like just panel pages these days are like $30,000 to $35,000.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel that like of all the things in the auction, this doesn't feel that expensive.
Correct.
Yeah. Comparatively, sure.
I agree.
So a good buy.
Yeah, I think so.
This wasn't surprising. This was not a surprising result to me because it's from that issue. It's
exactly
climax of the Dark Phoenix saga.
Yeah, this one sold for $47,750.
And I mean, it is not like the best page in that story, which is a double-sized story, but it's a very well laid out page. The flow of action is really nice. The line work is really nice on this page. It just has a really good feel.
Yeah, I'm looking at the closest comparable sale happened a year ago. Let's see, March 8th, 2020 from so the same issue 137, but page 37, and it sold for $48,000 at Heritage.
And this was $47,750. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, the other one was like at one of the end pages with Scott and Jean together right before they make their last stand.
Yeah.
But this one's the page on ComicLink has a lot of great action on it, though. I mean, in a weird way, I probably would have liked to like that one a little bit more than the other one. But story-wise, I can see why that other page would be really popular as well. But again, pricing is pretty much the same on both of those, so that is interesting. And actually, in November, the page 38 sold for $37,200 on Heritage. So yeah, we're seeing anything from 137 is selling pretty well over 30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
No. Yeah, no, I'm totally priced out of the John Byrne X-Men market now. I should never have sold the pages I had.
I feel your pain, Bill. It's
I'm sure you
tough.
do.
It's tough. It's really, really tough.
Time to move into Fantastic Four Byrne art.
That's about the next spot, right? I mean, what else you got?
That idea came to me and pretty early on.
I'm stealing that idea from you, Will.
All right, so then next is this Uncanny X-Men 276 splash, Jim Lee. This one went for $42,877.
But this wasn't to me. I mean, I'm not a Jim Lee aficionado. I like Jim, but this was not a surprising result. There was someone, and I apologize, I don't remember what collector. Maybe he can chime in if he's listening. That actually counted the number of pages you have where Wolverine is like slashing. And there's only a handful. And I mean, this is a half splash. It's a big panel of him slashing Professor X, I think killing him, or I don't know if that's the real Professor X, but it's a strong page. I was not surprised by this result at all. It's still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong.
Right. I know this page got a lot of interest. I actually had someone from a different country contact me and pay for market data because they wanted to learn as much as they could about historical Jim Lee uncanny sales because they were going to make a run at this piece too. And that was probably 2 weeks before the auctions closed. So, and I actually had somebody else email me with a generic question, and I knew it was related directly to this piece. So it definitely had a lot of interest because you don't see, I don't see really great pieces from Jim's run here, on the market. And this one, like you said, Will, a very rare Wolverine claws out piece, and as Chris just mentioned, and the Starjammers as well. So,
yeah.
What's interesting about Jim Lee X-Men pages is I have a lot of collectors that have been asking me for these kinds of pages lately, and they want to pay like 30 to 35 for a page like this. You know, I've got like, you know, 10 guys lining up to get a page. And that's the problem is, you know, a page like this comes out and you've got like a bunch of guys at a certain price level, but like literally to get a page this good, you have to go higher. And so it makes sense that like the market's moved up on these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got 10 guys at 30 to 35, one of them is willing to spend 40 to 45.
Right. So, yeah. I mean, like when a page like this comes out, they're like, I'm sure one of those, you know, maybe it's one of those guys that bought it and said, you know, I'm tired of waiting for a good page to come along. I'm willing to pay up for this one.
There you go. And Wes reminds everybody to like the show tonight if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you, Wes, because I never remember to do that.
Hey,
all right. Yep.
Somebody asked real quick in the comments. I'm sorry, I'm going back up. It was Dina. Why did McFarlane do twice up for this?
Yeah. Oh, just so you know, that page is not large. That page is small.
Ah, okay.
That was 11 by 17 page. 13 and 14 were large. 11 and 12 were small. Normal size.
Okay. And I think the covers to 6 and either 5 and 6 or 6 and 7, I believe, were large. I don't know the exact answer why they were large, but I know that certain
pages from 1 through 7 were large.
Okay.
All the pages from 1 to 7 were large. Then 8 they went small. Then 13 and 14, the Hobgoblin storyline, they went large again. Don't know why. That's just how they did it.
Yeah.
So I feel like Sam Kieth is having a moment.
Boy, oh boy, the piece market is having a moment. I said I should have taken my cover I had for $9 grand on my website off. Somebody bought it. They bought it right after this sold.
Well, he has such a unique style. His stuff is really cool and so unusual. And I feel like people are really collectors are really starting to notice that because you know these things, like you said, were like, you know, $8,000 to $15,000 just a year or two ago. And now, you know, this one did what, Bill? 36,000, something like that? Yeah,
36,788.
But I think we should clarify. I don't think we're suggesting all the Sam Kieth covers are now at the 30 to 36,000 range. But yeah, they have taken a step up. I mean, this is a really, you know, Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange on.
Right, it's good. Nice, it's really great content, and they both look really cool on the cover, obviously. So.
Yeah.
Right, and there's been a few other pieces that have come to market in the last year too. So I mean, this certainly I think was the healthiest of them all as far as the final sale price. But I agree. I mean, I think Kieth is just getting his due. You know, these were incredible works.
Well, this is the highest price ever for a non-Venom, non-Wolverine cover.
Right.
That Wolverine always commanded the most. This is the first cover that I could think of non-Wolverine or Venom that went for like over 14, and it went for 36. So, but I mean, it's a phenomenal cover, and he's getting his just due. I'm just saying. I remember when I first saw McFarlane's Spider-Man, I said, "Wow!" And honest to God, when I first saw Sam Kieth's art, I said, "This guy's a trendsetter," and he's finally getting his due. So,
I think the boots are made from bananas, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it probably makes Albert happy to see the market going well. Right.
I mean, you know, if only we all could get boots like that and wear them on the show.
Those boots were made
jump higher.
Think of the ratings, Bill. Get us those boots.
Hey, I would wear these Thor boots myself, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Well, you already have the hair, Bill. You have the hair length. So I mean,
I know.
We got to get Bill a helmet to wear.
I was going to say the helmet, the hair, and the cape. I mean, come on.
And you know, we need to get him a little bit of a Shakespearean accent as well. So,
verily,
Bill, can you just say, "I say thee nay"? Say it.
I say thee no. What am I like? I'm like a talking parrot for you, Berkey. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, little buddy.
On some people, Bill. He has that effect on some people.
All right, easy, Skipper. We got to talk about this piece right here.
My little buddy, a Thor helmet.
Oh, yeah, you do that. All right, so Journey into Mystery 97, title splash, Jack Kirby. This one sold for $36,333.
Feels light.
I keep thinking, like, what do collectors have against Darling Dick Ayers?
Don Heck.
Or Don Heck. Sorry.
Don Heck.
I agree.
Don Heck.
I feel it would have sold substantially higher if it was inked by Ayers.
Right. Well, maybe.
I just never liked Don Heck inking Jack Kirby. I hate to say it.
I mean, to me, though, it's just mind-blowing when you compare, and it's not a put-down of any other piece, but when you compare, this is a vintage, you know, early silver Jack Kirby twice-up Thor splash from the early, you know, this is like the 15th appearance of Thor.
Right.
And there's pieces that are far more modern that are going for the same or more money. It just, you know, it's a different market, but it definitely underperformed where I thought it would be.
Well, I think the reason it's so low is because they cut out the jet and moved it to the right. You see that?
Oh yeah, that's a killer.
Being facetious.
I don't know. I think this piece absolutely underperformed, and I think in the future, I think this is like a good piece to hold because
it's a great.
I mean, I feel like this has a tremendous amount of upside. You know, as collectors perhaps become more forgiving of inkers.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right.
Now this feels like a good buy for somebody, and they'll put it away. And if they were looking to sell it, they'll probably do pretty well.
Yep, I think so too.
Yep, I like this image a lot. Thor has always been my favorite character, and Mikhail, I don't know
No.
if I would ever cosplay Thor.
No,
Yeah.
Bill, no.
I'm an X-Men fan. Hey, I am an X-Men fan, but I did.
I say the name.
Thor. I completed my Thor run before I completed my X-Men run. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Verily, he did.
All right, and we have another John Byrne X-Men page. This is from 122, the title splash as well, and it sold for an even $36K.
Yeah. I remember owning this, and the complaint back in the day was, "It's only Colossus. Where's the team?"
I owned it. And everybody says, "Why would you purchase that with only Colossus? I couldn't even get $8,000 for it back then." And they go, "It's only Colossus," and I go, "Okay, I got to get rid of this thing."
It's a new day. It's a new day.
It sold. Well, you say it's a new day. What did it sold for? Like the price of a panel page. An extra
True.
A great page.
Well, right. After Wolverine, Colossus was always my favorite, so I like this page. And Mike, do you remember you actually gave me the color guide to this page, and I still have it. Yeah, I don't know why it was one of those days. You're I don't know. I was your little chum that day, and you were like, "Hey, you like the X-Men? This thing's been laying around in my office for a while. You want this?" And I was like, "Yeah." So yeah, I still got it. Still got that thing. Yeah, I was probably like 10 years ago. Whoever owned it at that point wanted to get it from me so they could kind of put them together, and I didn't want to because at that time I don't think I had any Byrne X-Men pages, and it was just, I thought it might be as close as I was going to get. So maybe I do still have something. I can say I still have a Byrne X-Men page.
What's it like to be Mike's little chum?
Yeah.
Well, actually, Mike's my little chum. I guess I
was going to say little chum feels like a step below little buddy. I don't know. I don't know if I like that for you, Bill. I'm not sure about that.
Hey, Mikhail, right? Exactly. You can do all caps nowadays, Mikhail, and it won't. And the Nightbot won't block you out like it did the other day.
From the Wednesday show, but you could bring up your Batman little. Come on, little chum.
Oh boy.
Oh no, we could save that for later.
Hey, and I have to agree with bootlegging. I've always liked Colossus. I've had a couple prominent Colossus X-Men pieces. I think I still might have one. But I'm just telling you what the temperature was in the hobby once upon a time. I think things have changed, but as Glenn pointed out, there are some panel pages that went for more than this splash. So depending how you look at it, it feels like a deal. And, but if it had the whole team on it, it would have gone for more. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
Even, two members of the team, it would have gone, Colossus and whoever, Wolverine, Storm, take your pick. It would have gone for more.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, no, if Wolverine were on the splash with him, that's like, an 80K plus splash.
And if it were Wolverine in the stores, that famous page that everybody's always looked for, just forget about it.
Forget about it.
All right, now I did pick this Frazetta, but we probably don't want to talk about the Frazetta since that's not.
I can't even see the Frazetta. Okay,
I know it is pretty small.
30 or something.
It sold for $31,500.
Yeah.
So it was from it's a book illustration from John Carter.
That's what it
I
looks
know
like.
a lot of my friends that are Frazetta fans didn't like this piece. They said, I don't like that one. I said,
it's not quite as, doesn't feel like it's quite as detailed as a lot of his other pieces. Yeah.
Heavy blacks.
Well,
Hey, thanks, bootlegger.
All right, so this is the Infinity Gauntlet page from issue 1, page 27. It sold for $31,218.
Yeah, these are still going strong, boy.
I mean, you know, this felt like a very strong price. I thought it was a great descriptive write-up. I think I compared it to when the page before the death of Phoenix, and they wrote how, you know, they talked about the death of Phoenix, and I felt like that pulled that page up. And that's what it felt like with this. This was the page before the snap of the fingers and half the earth is wiped out, or half the universe. And
yeah, I feel if they only made a movie like with this scene,
I know,
in there, like this page could really be something.
Yeah, it's a strong price. I mean, you know,
it is, but you know, it seemed like I mean, it makes it. I mean, it's hard to compare this page to other pages given the content.
Right.
No, it's great content. I mean, it don't, you know. Yeah.
I mean, we call these things one of a kind for a reason, and you know, I mean, the convergence of pop, you know, the Avengers movie and this page, I think it's like a perfect storm.
Yeah. The almost snap. Yeah, that last panel though is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, a lot of people are, you know, in love with Marvel's storytelling, and this was like one of my favorite stories of all time too. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I can't argue with the prices that the pages are getting.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
All right, so next up is Steve Ditko, Captain Atom, number 80 page. It sold for $31,100.
That feels light. It feels light.
And I don't know the Ditko market, so I can't comment.
I don't know. Like I was going to say, it feels strong.
Really?
Well, just because it's Captain Atom and it's, you know, it's not inked by Ditko, and
you know he drew Captain Atom before Spider-Man. You know that?
Okay.
I guess I'm going on. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think Mike, you might have. Didn't this sell for more money at one point?
I don't know. Believe it or not, I actually bought this, but I bought it for someone. So just because they couldn't get on the computer, so he was ecstatic. He put in a bid way higher than what it sold for. So he was ecstatic.
I was gonna say, I could swear this sold for like 40, like some odd, like 46,000.
I thought this went for auction years ago. I don't know what it sold for though.
That's why I said it feels light, because at 31, if it sold for 46, 6 or 7.
Right. I hear what you're saying. I wasn't aware of that result, but I was just thinking about some of the other Ditko Charlton covers and where they've gone. And I recognize that this is Captain Atom and not like, you know, some random horror cover or what have you.
You got the spider webs on it, you know, and all that stuff.
Okay.
Now we're getting off track here.
We got some great spider webs, you know.
There's no bricks in there though, Mike.
Yeah, I said no bricks.
It may have been Ruben. It may have been before Terry owned it, but if it wasn't this one, it was the other one, the preceding, or there was another issue. But one of these sold in the 40s. I'm pretty certain.
But obviously, Go Inks would have helped it a lot more for sure.
Right.
And I don't see anything in our market data at all that for Captain Atom Ditko pages that sold for more than this. And there aren't many, you know, whether it's out of dealer sales or auction house sales too. So,
well, this piece doesn't suffer from like it still looks like Ditko, even though he didn't ink it. You still recognize it's a Ditko piece.
Right.
Yeah, it feels like Ditko. Yeah.
There we go. We have some FF. This is from issue 18, and let's see, it sold for $28,750.
I mean, that feels like a healthy price. I like the page a lot. I thought when I saw it posted that it was pretty cool. But I thought it would do low 20s, not high 20s.
It's the Beta Man shipper, fastest shipper in the West.
Oh my God! I gotta mute this guy's mic again.
Like, what?
He muted it. He muted it himself.
Mike, I don't mean to alarm you, but there is a man behind you.
Yeah.
He is the fastest shipper in the East, dude. We ship.
John.
I get it to Australia. I get it to I get it to Bulgaria. I get it to Belgium. I get it to the Netherlands in 2 days.
Just make sure you get it right.
Faster to Europe than I can to California.
John, I think you sent one of my packages to Will.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Check it out.
He acts like
Yeah,
that.
just get it right, John. Get it right.
Mike for that one now. I only ship to where it says.
Hey, the good thing was Glenn's piece came to me and my piece came to Glenn. So other than Mike owing us for shipping, I think we're okay.
Well, I think John owes us lunch.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I felt like this. I felt this was a healthy. It's a really great page, but I felt it was kind of like a healthy price for this page.
Yeah, what did this sell for again?
28.
28, yeah, 750. Yep.
I would agree with you, Glenn, except that I feel like there's a lot of more modern things that are going for more money. It feels like it's pulling up. You know, the Kirby stuff feels like it's starting to be pulled up a little.
Right. It's true.
It's just all of them. I mean,
yeah, it has all of them on it. They're like, they're using their powers
and Torch is flamed. I mean, it is a great picture.
Yeah.
And you got the Beehive Sue there for a little while. Wow, Beehive there's.
Well, that's
all right,
funny.
you talked me into it. 28 is the price.
Hey, and the Baxter Building. What do you know?
Right. And the Pogo plane.
And the Baxter
Right.
Rocket
Yeah.
from FF1.
Well, all right. See, now you guys are going. You're gonna say it's a little light now.
Right.
Let's
Now-
all
the
buy
other
it.
way
Come on, let's go.
Now I'm sorry we didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it does. The more you guys have talked, the more valuable it feels. So yeah, but still, a strong price at the end of the day. But yeah, the
But a
page
very
does
nice
have a lot
page.
going for it.
A friend of mine really wanted this and he didn't get it, so that's the way it goes.
I mean, I even like this panel right there with just the characters, no background. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
So-
That's great. Well, and
That's
Mr. Fantastic putting on the spacesuit and the thing in his suit with the glasses and
The
you know.
whole
Right.
thing feels very 60s. It just screams 60s.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? You could see scenes like this in the soon-to-be well-made FF movie, hopefully.
Hopefully well made. Yes.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear the Eternals movie is really, really good, by the way, guys.
Okay.
I am looking forward to seeing that.
Hey,
Apparently,
please, everyone, no spoilers. I'm only on episode 5 of WandaVision. I'm a little behind on TV watching, so please, no spoilers.
So when Wanda murders those people in the finale, that didn't surprise you?
I'm just gonna ignore that.
Right. Yeah, you gotta watch them a little faster though, Will. You gotta do that.
No, it'll be done this week. I mean, I got to get it done.
I avoided social
Episode
media.
5 is shameful, Will. It's just shameful. Like, it's I don't even know what to say to you.
Sometimes life takes over. What can I tell you? I'm having like a Jeff Goldblum moment.
Get a life.
Finds a way to
Get a
give me
life.
away.
All right, we got an Avengers 10 cover here by George Perez, sold for
This is-
$21,251.
That sounds like a really healthy price for an Avengers cover from this run.
Very healthy, but this is next to number 1 or 2. This is the best one. I mean, this is a great. It's a
But
great
Cap
example.
has the translucent shield.
I know the energy shield, not so
Pretty
fun.
lame, but a nice cover to the buyer. But
It's also the 35th anniversary cover. I think it coincides with the 35th anniversary, and
Okay.
it's
very
a good
nice
looking
cover,
piece.
yeah.
I remember seeing it in person for a few times.
No, it has a lot of. I mean, I make fun with the energy shield, but it's a really good cover.
And everybody's there. If they're not on the stage, they're on a balloon.
Right.
Or they're painted on
Right.
somebody's face. Fan in the audience.
Very
So
nice.
a good price because I again
It's
this
healthy.
is-
Glenn
Well,
said
it was expensive,
healthy
but it's a great cover. So,
Yeah.
I guess given what's going on now with these auctions, it feels like, it's
you want
understandable
great, you gotta-
why people went there, but it is a healthy price. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got here? We've got the Another Journey into Mystery 84 page.
Yeah,
The Jack Kirby page.
What did that
Yeah.
sell for?
Yeah.
21,250.
I mean, second appearance of Thor. That doesn't seem out of bounds. I mean, he's small. It's
Well,
not.
we got a back. We got a back. What's the bottom look like?
You got a little front right
Okay.
there. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a nice panel right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both. He's on it.
I mean, it's not
second
content.
appearance, you know.
Content and appearance wise, it's not like a great page, but it's the second appearance of Thor. Does
I said
not.
it's about right. You know.
I don't feel offended by the price at all. You know, it feels.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
He is kicking the crap out of a tank. You know.
Taking it out on that tank.
A Soviet tank to boot.
Are
Well,
you?
I mean, this is the Red Scare years. I mean, you know.
Right.
Are you often offended by prices, Will?
Shocked, amazed,
I've
befuddled.
never heard it sort of like put quite that. I'm offended.
I don't know
by
if
that.
I'm, you know, that was just some new verbiage I had to try out. But shocked, amazed, befuddled, I think would be.
I forgot. Dino made a good point. Jane Foster, it's her first appearance issue, and she is at the bottom right.
Oh wow. Okay.
The 84. Was
Although
her
I do, yeah. I mean, you got you got to put I got to put my glasses on for that one.
yeah, that's her. She's a nurse. She's a nurse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was Don Blake's nurse.
Right. But yeah, there she is.
Yeah. Nowadays that would be sexual harassment.
Yeah, dating your subordinate.
But you know, back in the day, it was just like
Bill,
you know,
Bill, you're supposed to say now, I say thee nay.
No. No, I will not. I'm not your parent, man.
You know what? This is the second appearance of Bill Cox, so that should be going for a lot of money.
Man. I don't know, Mike. I love you.
You know, it's probably around the same year. It's probably not far off. You know?
No.
What's that, Will? I'm sorry.
I said it's a little. Or I was going to say it's probably just a little bit older than you are. So you know.
By about 6 years.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
No, 8 years. 8 years. What am I thinking? 8 years. This is 62 still, right?
62?
You were born in 70?
No, I was born in 68.
Oh, 68. Okay, so
Yeah.
6 years. 6 years.
well,
Yeah.
all I can say is don't listen to them. Defeat them all.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll
Once
be
you
waiting for
leave,
that.
she
I'm
will
waiting for that
die.
Thor helmet in the mail. I'm expecting
Yeah,
one.
I'm getting you one, little buddy.
All right. So this is X-Men Blue. Yeah, J. Scott Campbell. This one sold for 20,000 and almost 21,000.
Yeah, I said his market's definitely hot.
I mean, it's not Gen 13, but I mean, it is X-Men.
No, well, but you got a
I
pretty
love-
good.
I love the corner box as much as anything. Get a load of that corner box. I love
that's
that.
cool. That's cool.
That's really cool.
See, and I like Charlie with the telekinetic waves coming out of his head.
Yeah, that's like the cover issues like 11, 12, 13. That was the corner box, and the logo had that image from issues like 11, 12, and 13 of the original.
I have to call him Professor X. You get to call him Charlie. He allows that.
Well, you know, he was the voice on the intercom on the Angels show. What can I tell you?
The Stan Lee signature really did it, though. That for me.
Yeah, Stan signed a lot of different stuff, didn't he?
That's unfortunate.
I said obviously they pointed Stan to the wrong direction for his signature,
Yeah,
so they had to do it below
Right.
her feet.
just a little
Right
bit
over-
lower. It doesn't have to be in the
Well,
art.
Yeah,
Right over
wait,
Campbell's
right
signature.
over Campbell.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Whoa.
I said, they poor Stan. They probably didn't know. He did it right over there. They didn't point him in the right direction where to draw.
Wow, he just thought he was drawing on some grass.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Well, what are you gonna do? I mean,
Hey, it didn't affect the price.
no, not at all. I mean, I've got some stuff that Stan signed, and
See, what I would do is take it to Campbell and have Campbell draw it again below her feet. That's what I would do. Can't get Stan to redraw it,
Nope.
unfortunately.
If only you could get Stan Lee to sign some of those Gen 13 covers, you'd really have something.
Right.
They would be unique, one of a kind. Huh. Wow. Oh well. What are you gonna do with that? But that's like you said, that's still a good price. And
That was a strong price, great cover.
But this is a lesson in be careful who and where you get things signed.
Nowadays, yeah.
right, because I mean, doesn't Byrne get a lot of grief for some of the places he signed stuff because he didn't always sign it in the gutters. He'd sign it in the art wherever there was a little white space sometimes.
Sign it on a behind, on an arm, sure.
Right.
But I'm just saying this one is just especially egregious because it's
it's covering
the signature. It's like
right. It's sort of saying like, you know, yeah, sure, you drew this, but these are my
created these. Yeah.
All right, so this was I guess it was a poster by Olivier Coipel and Gabriel Deodatto.
Yeah.
From 2007.
It's technically 5 covers. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
5
Yeah,
covers.
so
Actually, 5 different covers. This sold pretty strong though, right? What did it sell for?
It was just over 20.
Oh, just over 20. Okay.
Oh, that sounds inexpensive.
Yeah, really. That's $4,000 a cover. That's actually not
it
bad.
doesn't sound too horrible at all.
Yeah, I mean, think, Mike, if you had these, you could split them up and sell them individually.
Of course, I would.
You would not.
Yes, you would.
There are 5 different covers. I mean, oh, I love that Stan signature.
No,
There it is. Another. He did it again.
Well, at least it's not on top of Deodatto.
At least he didn't cover up the other guys' names. Yeah.
No, he didn't do it that time.
But he drew it extra large.
Coppel.
Signed it extra large.
Capel. Sorry, I
So
always
this doesn't strike me as like Coppel's like signature design in a way. I mean, the stuff on Thor looks kind of different than this stuff, but
Yeah.
maybe because of the color.
Well, Deodatto did the coloring.
Oh, Deodatto did the coloring. That's why.
Yeah. All right. Stan had
it feels like a good buy to me.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a cool piece.
I have to agree.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody wants to frame it. That's what they're saying in the chat. All right, so this
one was a shocker to me.
John Buscema Thor 221 sold for $15,350.
Well, the thing is, it's inked by Mike Esposito, not even
that's
Sal or some Mooney. But I mean, that's for Mike Esposito inking. I thought that was an extraordinary page.
Yeah, it's very well inked.
I mean,
price,
I think this exceeded everyone's expectations. But I mean, you know, the Thor Hercules pages from this era on Thor have always been in demand. I mean, even years ago, people would ask, "Hey, have you seen any of the covers? Can you find me a cover? Can you find me a great page?" And this is definitely the best page I've seen from that era.
Right.
Strong price, though. I mean, if you know somebody said price this, I you know, given this market, I probably would have said, you know, not less than 8, not more than 12.
I never dreamed on God's green earth it would even reach 10. Never.
Well, I'm just saying this market, Mike. I mean, I agree with you.
I'm just saying, going into the auction, I was figuring this would go for 5 to 6.
Before this heated market, I would have said 6 or 65 or something like that. But I'm just saying, in this market, this environment, you know.
I mean, I'm just saying that's issue 220. You probably don't have an image of it, Bill, but the same auction, phenomenal battle page from 193, the Silver Surfer issue, Thor battling in every panel. I think it went for $4,000 or $3,500.
But I'm telling you, it's the pairing of these two, because I've had requests for pages from these few issues.
I realize that, but Sal Buscema inking John versus Esposito inking John too. That just boggles my mind.
It's better line work probably, but it's the Thor versus Hercules draw, and that's a hell of a final panel.
Yeah, it certainly is. Hey, Mike.
Still went for 3 times more than I ever dreamt it would go for. Well,
there, have at thee, trader. How's that? That's as good as you get.
Have at thee, trader.
Yeah,
for Krista, for Asgard.
There you go.
Wow, who is Krista?
Then Bill, you got to start doing
billing between Odin and Asgard. Who is Krista?
That is the question of the day.
Yeah.
Was he two-timing Jane Foster?
Could be. All
Well,
right.
you guys definitely missed your calling as voiceover artist.
Voiceover.
Yeah.
Another Campbell, huh?
Another Campbell.
Where did
Wolverine.
Stanley sign
I
this
said
one? Bill?
Stan really found the right spot there.
Are you kidding me? What?
I'd rather it be there than on Wolverine's leg.
Well, it's not our Campbell signature though, so
That
That is just crazy.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. That looks like a tattoo gone bad. I mean, like
What did this one sell for, Bill?
this one sold for $14,250.
At least he
Then
didn't
it
draw
would've
right
been
over
more.
Campbell's
The
signature.
signature wasn't there. I find that really distracting.
yeah.
Well, think about it. Where else are you gonna? He should have signed it underneath Campbell. Yeah.
Anywhere
Sign it on the
else.
back.
Well,
The tree, the bottom of the piece.
at least it's where there's no other art. Give him credit
Well,
for
I mean,
that.
how about right at the left bottom corner?
Can't. There's too many dots.
Anywhere else would have been better than that.
Well,
Wolverine's head. I'll
no.
take the thigh over Wolverine's head. So
Wow, Brian thinks it's perfectly placed. I hope that's tongue in cheek.
well, I think in the sense that was the only spot where there wasn't any art.
No, I know, but it is a.
Then again, he should have drawn that spot, that open spot on the left, in between the trees. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a distraction.
I mean,
Well-
in Stan's defense, he was semi-blind, and obviously somebody pointed him where to sign it. So it's not Stan's
I
fault.
mean,
It's
it
some
was in
other
his later
moron's fault.
years. The guy was, probably 90 plus at that
Yeah,
point. So I
yeah.
get it. But I'm just saying, yeah.
Right,
If
it's
you're
not
signing
Stan's
something,
fault.
if you're signing something in the middle of the page, you've got to be pretty clear you're signing the art.
I agree.
Yeah, but I agree with Mike. Probably, I saw Stan sign when he was at Big Wow because I was his handler for the day, and people literally would put their finger where they wanted him to sign it, and whether it was the handler or another person that was working with him, or even the collectors. So it's hard to imagine that they probably somebody didn't point right there, and then he just signed it.
Right.
So a good restorer can remove that signature because it's like a marker signature,
They can.
and I would have that removed. Well, I mean, that seems crazy.
Yeah, the kid probably paid $500 for that signature.
Maybe, but I still would have. I think the art's more valuable without that signature where it's placed.
Yeah. Well, you can't. Yeah. Well.
What are you gonna do?
Yep.
This is Greg Capullo piece from Batman. It's another market I don't know a whole lot about. This one sold for
Port of Owls.
And that's a splash. That's not a cover. What'd that sell for?
$12,665.
Very strong for a splash.
But it is like, Court of Owls. It is Capullo, which is exactly what you want. It's a huge image. I mean, his covers are 25.
Are they
Plus,
really? I didn't realize they were that
like,
high.
Yeah.
Well, for Court of
Capullo-
Owls, if you could get one, would like 25 easy, and they probably are higher.
Capullo's been pricing them higher for sure, and I think he's gotten it sometimes. Yeah, I mean, this is a strong splash. Feels like a lot of money for a more modern piece, but it's probably about right.
And he drew it upside down on the board. How about that?
Yes, he did. All right, but yeah, I mean, I know that when the pricing that he's got on his site usually is very strong.
Yeah, it is. I've seen covers 35 to 50, so I'm not saying they're all selling,
Wow.
but that's what they're priced at, 30 to 50.
And what year would this have been drawn approximately? I'm just curious.
2012.
Oh,
Okay.
it is not 9 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Where
curious.
did Stan sign this one? Hopefully.
I said looking for Stan's signature, huh? On DC.
Well, and well, just double checking. Was this the first DC in the set? Yeah. Okay.
Might be. Yeah.
We've already talked about that one.
All right.
And another
Spider
Campbell.
Gwen. Hey, Stan's signature again.
in the
Right.
bricks.
At least
In
it's
the
At
bricks.
least, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there's
not
no-
over his signature. It's not over Campbell's signature, and
That's
it's
fine. Yeah.
That's
yeah, that one ain't so bad.
Yep, this was a $12,250 cover, so just another good Campbell
that feels
sale.
about right. And this is like the #1 Spider-Gwen cover all
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
Agree.
Scotty Young cover. I'm not really up on his market. This was
What do they call it? Spider? They Marvel Kids or something?
yeah. This sold for just over
12 what?
12,000.
Holy shit! I thought it was 1,200.
so was it
It's,
overpriced, Mike?
Is it published?
Yeah, it says. I can only tell you the title because I'm not familiar. It says Giant Size Little Marvel AVX, so Avengers X.
Wow.
No, Scotty Young covers tend to sell pretty quickly, and just a run of the mill that I've seen are at least a couple thousand, 2,500. So I would imagine for this many characters, I wouldn't have guessed 12, but I would have guessed, I don't know, 6 to 8 maybe.
Huh.
I'm not saying I'm buying them. I'm just saying, but somebody is.
It's unique, you know. It's almost like an offshoot, like it's almost like a Sergio Aragon. It's just an offshoot type of stuff, you know. It's unique in its way. So.
It's very unique, yeah. Yeah.
And published.
This was the complete interiors to Brave and Bold number 90 by Ross Andrew, and it sold for 11.
This felt light. This felt very light to me, because you're this 24-page story, so that's less than 500 a page on average. Doesn't have a great splash. I mean, this is like a title page, not really a true splash. It was a title splash.
Well,
But
it's 2/3, yeah.
But I'm just saying. I mean, there were some good interior pages with. It's a strange pairing.
Yeah.
Batman and Adam Strange.
Who was the
But
anchor?
it was a very good buy. Felt like wholesale buy to me.
Esposito.
Thank you.
Yeah. Andrew.
Yeah,
Esposito.
I bought this one.
Yeah. No, that's a good buy, Mike. I mean, you know what you were doing.
Yeah, I found out I was bidding against Albert. Albert goes, "If I wasn't bidding, you'd have probably gotten it for 8." I go, "Yeah, maybe."
Nah, I think there was 1 or 2 other people. Somebody told me they were a little above that, but yeah.
I'm just saying Albert really was the underbidder, but I thought the same thing. 24 pages under 500 a page. I'll do that any day of the week for late 60s, early 70s art, whatever it is.
I mean, some of these stories are 17 or 18 pages. You know, then you might feel a little bit different. But 24 pages, like, yeah.
And there's some really nice pages with Batman and Adam Strange inside of it too. So.
Yeah. No, there are.
I mean, at the end of the book, there's a lot of good battle pages.
No, there's some good pages. It's a strange pairing, but no pun intended.
Yeah, no, totally is.
Good pages.
Yeah.
And this was Tales to Astonish 63, sold for 10,500.
Yeah, I own this splash like twice over the years, but the great thing about this is the Golden Age Carl Burgos. I believe he only did 2 stories ever for Marvel. I believe 62 and 63, if my memory is right. He did 2 Giant Man stories, and I think that's it that he did for Silver Age Marvel. I think he only did 2 stories, so it's just a rare way to get, Golden Age Human Torch artist drawn.
And Stone compliments Burgos. I mean, he really does.
Yeah, Stone inked this phenomenally.
Yeah, it's a beautiful page.
And I thought it went light. I was expecting to go for 12 to 15. I think it just went for 10, right? 10, 150 or something.
10.5.
10.5. Okay.
Yeah, no, this is a pretty good deal. I mean, it really was.
I hate to say it. Poor Giant Man / Ant-Man always seems like he's like the ugly stepchild of Marvel.
Which is weird because a movie's coming soon. Not
yeah,
that
but remember, it's a different. It's not Pym. Well, I mean, he's in it, but I mean the central character is Scott Lang. And those pages from the late 70s have really gone up in value.
Oh, correct. I agree. Like the late era stuff, the 70s, yes.
But Hank Pym's in the movies. That's
no. I mean, I agree. And these always have felt cheap for the most part. And this one is particularly nice looking. Some of these ain't so pretty, but this one is.
This one is, yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Early 60s.
Nice Dick Ayers, Sergeant Fury.
The Ayers Sergeant Fury mark has been strong for years.
Yeah.
How much did this go for?
There's a couple of guys that have been going head to head. Didn't this sell for like 10 to 12?
$10,472.
And it is twice up. It is large. It's not small. It's large.
Same as the Giant Man. And yeah, I was, that actually surprised me. I didn't think this was going to be large. I thought this was a little late,
Right.
but I guess it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, right at the end of the large art area.
Okay.
But I know panel pages of this stuff have been selling for $3,000 plus on heritage auctions.
Yeah,
Panel
three
pages
to five. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
they've been going
Oh,
strong.
they've jumped. I stopped paying
Heritage
attention.
for years.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's like three main guys that really go. I mean, there's more, but
Correct.
You know,
There's a
that
couple of
really-
hardcore guys going after, right? The Sergeant Fury stuff. Yeah. Yep. Nice looking piece with the whole gang. So
we got, this is a Jim Lee FF page, and it went for 10.
Wow.
good old Stan. This had to have been one guy's collection with all those Stan signatures, right?
Well, he got that one in the right spot.
I said he certainly signed this one in the right spot.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yep.
Who's this guy? Is that Submariner in the front?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that is him. Oh yeah, the ears. Okay.
This is the Heroes Reborn era, so they
Right.
look a little different.
Oh, okay.
Well, and you know, Jim Lee, and this is like, you know, 90s art, which
Is
we've
Scott Williams
discussed.
the inker on this still? Was Scott Williams the inker? I was just curious.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
It actually says Alex Garner
I
Oh,
was going to say, this
okay.
doesn't look like Scott to me, but
Huh.
from 97. Yeah.
Get around. Nice images, but and what did this sell for, Bill?
10
This
grand.
was, 10 grand, just a little over.
Boy, that sounds like a strong price for
feels
90.
strong. Yeah, feels strong.
Does, yeah. But again,
But yeah,
a
people
lot of
that
90s collectors have entered the marketplace and they're snapping this stuff up. So
Yeah, I said a lot of the guys that were little buggers in the 90s are now in their mid 30s and 40s want this stuff. Yeah.
He had
Little
to
buggers.
Those
Yeah,
what
little
those little
buggers,
buggers
little-
are doing in the marketplace.
I think there was
Terrible.
something different coming out of Mike's mouth a second ago. He had to stop himself.
All these little buddies. All right.
I say the nay.
I say thee nay. I'm going to be waiting for that Thor helmet. That's all I got to say. I'm going to skip over a couple of these because we've talked Byrne a few times, Byrne X-Men a few times, and we've talked Campbell a few times. Here's a Paul Ryan Avengers 315 cover. It sold for $9,400.
So wasn't this in just like about a year or so ago in a heritage auction?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was too.
Do you have any information, Bill?
I'm just plugging it in right now to see.
Oh, okay.
I think
it was sort of in the same range.
yeah, I think it was in the same range. I don't think this has like really moved very much.
Yeah, the Ryan market's been pretty strong the past few years for his covers.
It's the era, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm sure you remember buying directly from Paul Ryan, like I did, and you know, I remember wanting to give the guy more money. I felt like he was not charging enough money for his art. I think I did a couple times, kind of round up the amount.
Yeah, he used to set up at Detroit and Chicago shows, and pages were $50 to $75, and covers were $350 to $500.
Man, I was buying them cheaper than.
Yeah,
they were really cheap. I think I told him he's too cheap. I think you need to raise your price. But nice guy.
Yeah, this one sold in July for $10,200.
Yeah,
So
it actually went a little bit less.
Sold a little bit less. Yeah,
but that's what we used to see when pieces would come back up within the next couple of auction cycles.
Right.
They would tend to perform a little less, typically.
Right.
And then a crisis page.
Ruben said he thinks we're confusing, but no, that definitely sold in Heritage.
It did, but we are confused.
There is another FF cover like that by Ryan, though. He's right about that.
That's true.
Yeah,
no,
it's definitely. I'm looking at the auction result in the market data. Yeah, it sold July 12th, 2020 for 10.2 on Heritage.
I think the consigner of this crisis page, I personally like the crisis page, not because it's from number one, but because it has the crime syndicate. And I think there's only a handful of pages that have the crime syndicate of Earth 3. I always like the variant Earths, the multiple Earths, versions. But But this page was available within the last year, if I'm not mistaken, for $4,000 and did not sell. So
what did it sell for?
8,100.
Wow.
Yeah, 81.
Okay.
So I mean, if the same guy wasn't able to sell and he put it in ComicLink, he must be pretty happy.
Yeah, to double what the original asking price was.
Chris says, I don't know if he's talking about this page. He's very surprised how low this went. No,
Yeah, I don't know if he's talking about this one or not.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it, because that if it's the Perez Crisis page, that's a really strong price.
That's a strong. Yeah. Who was his inker on this issue?
Well, I don't know if this issue, but typically it was Ordway throughout the series.
Ordway almost all of them? I was
It
curious.
says
yes.
it does say Dick Giordano.
Oh, it's Giordano.
Oh, Giordano inked this one?
Giordano's, yep. Sorry.
I just thought the inking was pretty strong on this. It looks good.
Well, Giordano is phenomenal.
Nah, he was great.
And this was epic. I mean, Crisis was epic. So I mean, I'm sure they all put a lot into it.
Right. Wow. Very nice.
Yeah. No, great page, but strong price.
So this was a Buscema Conan title splash for 80.
I said artistically, I thought the backgrounds on this looked better than the figure, but I thought it was beautifully done. The cross hatching.
No, you're right. You
reminded me almost of like he was trying to ape like 70s Wrightson Frankenstein there, just with that line work. Wow.
No, I agree. The two main figures, Mike, I agree with you. There's something sort of disproportionate about them, and yet the backgrounds are pretty amazing.
Oh, I think the backgrounds look lovely, and Conan is just sort of But
well, even the woman that he's carrying, she's kind of like she's a little lumpy around the.
Yeah, she's a little hippie and wearing a diaper.
Congratulations to the winner, though.
Yeah, what did it go for? What did this go for, though?
Just over $8,000.
Oh. Well, I expected it to go for more. I think that's a good buy.
Deal. That's a deal. Even with our criticism of the main figures, it's still a deal.
Listen, I bet you it took him. It took him the time to draw this splash draw 10 Conan pages of that time period. I'm just saying, there's a lot of work on that page.
Oh, Alcala's Franklin Booth style, huh?
Yeah. Ink by Alcala. That's beautiful.
Yeah. That's not a Buscema ink job.
Right. Hippie chicks need love too.
Hey, I totally agree, but hers are just a little like, yeah.
Well, she's wearing bloomers. That's the problem.
They're not proportionate. They're kind of. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. And Matteo Scalera, I'm not very familiar with their market at all. This is Black Science, sold for $7,800.
This is like a creator-owned project that seems like a pretty healthy price.
Looks like we got Herbie the Robot on there. You see him there at the bottom? Never mind.
It's a Fantastic Four crossover.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Let's get.
I'm not
more in here.
Beautiful, please. Conan 6.
Conan 6. This one went for $7,800.
Yeah, that's about right. That's the split up book they had in auction a couple years ago.
Right.
Nice page. Who was his inker on those back then?
Let's see. Sal Buscema.
Oh, it was Sal.
Yeah.
Wow, I wasn't sure. Yeah, Sal was a great inker.
He was
on his career. Great inker.
Yeah.
And he's a great artist. I mean, he was a great inker too.
On his brother and on Barry both. Those early years of him inking, 1969, 1970. Gorgeous.
I agree. To me, Barry inked by Sal and John inked by Sal, I think some of the most beautiful stuff of that era.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, happy days. We're kumbaya.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Wally. It looks like Wally too, yeah.
Wow.
Another Campbell.
Another Campbell. Another signed by Stan.
Now that's Stan's roughest signature there. He only did one E.
Yeah, I think it's.
He was a bit smitten by the Black Queen there.
Yeah, I think he was a little nervous.
A little distracted.
Too close to that thigh. He either draws inside of it or outside of it, but not against it. Yeah.
Right.
There you go. And this was just a pinup, not a cover or anything, and it sold for $7,600.
So just to clarify, publish pinup or commission?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Let's see.
I'd like to think for 7,600 it was published.
Because I have a bone to pick, sort of. I think not we collectively, but the hobby's using that word a little too loosely. We're calling commissions pinups, and that is not correct.
Right. I mean, it's listed as an illustration on ComicLinks, and I don't see where it's mentioned that it's published. It
I think a pinup is a pinup. It's just either a published pinup or unpublished pinup.
But I
would
mean,
say
it
this is
leads one to
unpublished
believe that it's published when you say this pinup instead of saying illustration or commission.
Right. Or
I think if you do
commission.
say pinup, you have to say unpublished next.
Specify, yeah.
Got it. And it just so you know, it literally does say Jean Grey Black Queen illustration as the title.
See, Mikhail agrees with me. Pinup implies published.
Yeah. All right, guys. All right. I won't use the word pinup unless it's known published. It is listed as an illustration.
I've known a few pinups that were not published.
But they were fun to look at.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, it could end up in a sketchbook. You're right. That's true, Marcus.
It could later. Yeah. I'm just saying. I think there is this looseness that I've noticed kind of permeate over the last year or so that I get concerned about things like that. I think of longevity, folks. 30 years. I want to be here 30 more years or more. So.
See, I disagree with you, but that's okay. To me, if it's published, I say published pinup. If it's an image like that, I say it's a pinup.
Well, I'll agree with you on longevity, Will.
Yeah. But Marvel didn't approve. Okay.
All right.
What you got, Willie? Is that it? Oh, yeah.
Pretty. We're kind of getting close. I didn't save too many more after this. This was
this is interesting. I used to own all the first pages, and man, I couldn't even get like $400 or $500 for them. I know they sold pretty well.
Yeah, $7,600.
What'd it go for?
$7,600.
$7,600. Yeah.
These sort of fill-in issues, around the Cockrum run. I mean, they've been pulled up because the Cockrum run pages are so damn expensive. So
and they're still nice looking. They're not bad.
No, they are. But I mean, you remember even a decade ago, 5 years ago, people would kind of go, "Yeah, but I want Cockrum," or "Yeah, but I want." Of
course.
And now it's like, "Hey, that's pretty nice. How much?"
Right.
Well, you've also got the baseball theme, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, they were playing a software. Yeah, I remember having this page for $500 and I couldn't sell it. But again, we're talking 15 years ago.
No, I remember looking at this on your site or at your place one time, and it was $500, but I didn't want to buy it because it wasn't Cockrum.
Right.
I always like that second to last panel though,
the running.
That's a good drawing.
Yeah, that's Bill's third favorite character. Yeah.
After Thor and Wolverine?
Yeah.
I say thee nay. How's that? All right. Yeah.
I say thee yay. Tony DeZuniga was penciler. Who inked it? Was it Colette inked? Who inked this one?
Let's see.
I think so.
Strangely enough, there is no secondary artist listed on this
maybe he penciled and
page.
inked.
Yeah.
Maybe he did pencil and inked.
Yeah, it's not mentioned in the description.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I don't know. I did pick a few other ones, but I skipped around a little bit. Deodatto, Electric cover, number 19, sold for $6,800 from 98.
Really nice drawing. Really nice drawing of Elektra. So, and Deodatto does draw pretty women.
Yeah. It is weird thinking that this is almost like 30 years old. I mean, it's probably like 20. I think he drew this like in 92 or something. It's just odd thinking how old these are now.
It kind of feels like modern art, but it's
I think it's showing how old we are.
I know. I said, I know us guys used to be like young guns. Now we're the old.
I was in college in 92. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was already out of college by then.
Yeah.
What we got here? Vampirella. It's a recreation.
Well, it's a recreation, but it's stunning. Yeah.
By San Julian. Yeah, sold for $6,600. About market.
Seems fine. What's the size? What does it say?
Sexy boutique. Yeah, I think it was drawn pretty large.
Yeah, let me see here. 21 inches by 31 inches.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's a nice big piece.
Yeah,
Oh,
framed,
wow.
and it was framed almost 3 feet, so it was pretty huge.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, the card thing makes it look cool. That's pretty cool.
Another Campbell, Gen 13.
Where's Stan's signature? Only Campbell without a Stan signature.
Because it's Gen 13.
It's Gen
Wow.
13.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
6,600 on this page. So,
I mean, this is obviously like, the storyline that a lot of collectors want. Still felt a pretty healthy price.
right.
6,600.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of people after
I'm
these
just saying
pages.
that there's not a whole lot of action on it, but you got babes and boobs. So.
Depends on how you look at it, Mike.
Babes and
I know.
boobs.
Yeah, Mike doesn't want it unless it's got Stan's signature on it.
Yeah, I'm just shocked. Yeah.
Or guys
Yeah,
punching each other.
Mike, this is more akin to babes and boobs, I would have to
Yeah,
say.
there you go.
All right, Wally Wood, Sally Forth. This one was $6,500.
Isn't this isn't this a PG-13 show, Bill?
I was thinking so. I'm looking for the next button. And we've seen a few of these. This is Ron Lim Infinity Gauntlet, though, number 5. This one was $6,450. So that's
It's not 31,000, but it's not quite as iconic
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. They say what Mephisto's going to be playing a major role in the movies coming up. Will, did you say that once?
I don't know. It was rumored that Mephisto was going to show up in WandaVision,
Oh, is that right?
All right, let's stop with the WandaVision.
but I can't say any more about that.
Yeah, I need
Exactly.
you can talk about it next week. I'll be there.
All right,
You'll be
I'm
you'll be
just
caught
saying,
up by
well,
then.
Oh
we
yeah.
have to have like Marvel discussions, and if you're not up to snuff,
Hey, if I didn't have this little thing called sleep that I have to get, at least a few hours of, I mean, I would have been caught up already.
it's like so many excuses with the sleep thing.
I know, but I had a whopping 3 hours last night, so.
Mazel tov.
All right, we'll be wrapping this up with a couple more here, guys. But this is a Brave and the Bold Neil Adams page, and it sold for $6,200.
When you should take this one. This is.
I always like this issue. You can't hurt Bork, but Bork can hurt you. It's like he's like the DC version of the Hulk.
Is he really? Oh, they call him the Bork?
Bork.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Bork.
Mike, I got to give you a crash course on DC one of these days. But I always thought the line. I always thought the line, Glenn, was you can't hurt Berkey, but Berkey can hurt you.
Oh, right.
The Bork.
Well, so my issue with this
Bork.
page, it's like, you've got great, this is like Neil Adams, but it's Coletta inks, right? Which is a very unusual combination. Is that right, Bill?
Was it?
It's credited to Coletta and Dick Giorgiano. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep. It's hard to
Yeah, I
say.
see more Coletta than Giordano.
I see
Yeah.
I see
Coletta here.
Colette
Yeah.
on the Flash for sure, and on Bork. Maybe not on that Batmobile so much.
Huh.
What did this sell for, Bill?
This one was $6,200.
I mean, I guess it's that's not terrible, but I mean, I do think the Coletta inks kind of hurt this one.
Yeah.
It's just a weird combination. Coletta works over Kirby, but like over Neil Adams, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Not as much, but I mean, the price feels okay to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does because you got Batman on it. So in the
And Flash.
Batmobile too.
And Flash, yeah. All right, just Art Adams X-Men cover, 61.9, 6,190. So,
I
yeah,
thought
for
that was a good
2013.
buy.
Yeah,
I thought
that feels like a good buy to me.
Yeah, nice looking, beautiful piece.
Nice piece.
And I think was it drawn large too, Bill?
That one, I think it was. Let me double check that.
I was just curious.
Yeah, 13 by 20.
Yeah, nice size, nice piece.
All right, and this is actually the last one I picked out too, guys. This is a Bernie Wrightson House of Mystery page from 195, and it sold for just under $6,000.
Yeah, strong price, but great content. I got a kick out of. There was some I saw. I think on some Chappers guys were saying like, "Oh, it's like a Swamp Thing page." I go, "Well, it's a creature, but I don't know how he looks.
Right.
But I love that guy, that grimacing guy face on the right. I mean, this is just vintage Wrightson.
A lot cheaper than the Wrightson page that's sold in the last Heritage auction
for like 45 to 47 or something.
If you love Wrightson's art, I mean,
this is gorgeous.
This is a nice
and I thought it was a good buy just because of content, and Wrightson known for his creatures and monsters. It's great.
Yeah, those middle panels are beautiful.
Because he did a lot of like horror stuff, but you rarely see monsters that he drew for DC. There wasn't, a lot of Warren stuff, but DC there wasn't really a lot of monsters per se creatures that he drew. So I thought it was a cool piece.
You carnival freak.
Mm-hmm. All right, gentlemen. That's all I pulled out of there. I mean, unless anybody else had any specific pieces they wanted to talk about, I kind of wanted to stick to the higher end stuff. But I mean, again, there was a lot of good mid-tier pieces in there that I think a lot of people were fighting over. There
was a Roy Krenkel piece. It was actually the cheapest piece in the auction. I think it went for $190, and it was a nude, and it was a woman. I think she was labeled as concubine, but she was sitting. She was topless. She crossed her legs. You couldn't see the bottom, but it was very nicely detailed. And I just thought for what you normally see Krenkel drawings for, this would have been easy $400 or $500 and went for under $200. It was actually one of the few pieces in the auction that went for that price point. It might have been the only piece under $200.
Yeah, probably.
So I thought that was really good deal.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just looking through a couple pages there to see if I missed anything. But no, this was good. I mean, I'm glad that ComicLink said we could do this. I think that if they continue to have auctions like this with those kind of results, I mean, I think we should try to make it a regular thing as long as it doesn't like overlap with other things we've got scheduled. I think it's good that we can kind of get that out there, especially with the way the market is today. Just the more opportunity we can talk about it, and because there were a lot of different pieces here than what we would maybe see in some of the heritage auctions. So certainly a lot more stand signed items than we've talked about in the past. So okay, but I'll keep talking with Josh about it.
I guess he wouldn't go for a show where we talk about it in 30 seconds after the lot's finished, like not quite real time, but right.
No, I don't think that they would like that. I don't know too much. I don't know none of the auction houses would like that. I think I'd have some trouble with my advertisers on cap.
Well, we'd be doing it after. We wouldn't do it before or during.
That is true. That is true. I know that's why I've always thought, there were times when I thought, wow, we could do an auction preview, and then I realized, no, because
better.
I'm just looking for the edge, Bill. I'm just looking for the edge.
But and like I said, hopefully one day I'll be able to work with Josh on his market data just to get some stuff out of him. But that's my fingers crossed. I keep trying. One of these days,
Josh, you better come to the table with that data. That's all I'm saying to you, pal.
I did. I made a reasonable pitch just to kind of get the last, like if I could just have 2 years of rolling data, the most recent data that wouldn't be giving away all of their historical information, but it would be keeping their most current, because that's really the most, at least for guys who are trying to establish prices, that knowing current market sales is better than having the breadth of it. I mean, I'd rather have the breadth of it, but I would take a small sampling of a current stretch of sales from them just to kind of have it as something to weigh it against, because clearly
collectors have been asking for that for years. They have. I know he's had to heard it from
Oh no, he has. I mean, I think that I don't. Who knows what's holding them back from doing something on their own and making it some kind of a searchable database for that. I mean, maybe that's the long range plan, but no, they've got a lot of useful information, and I'd like to use it just to, when we do these auction reports every week, if I could pull comparables from them easily, I'd be putting them in every weekly report, at least a mention. So maybe one of these days.
It doesn't strike me that that's the long-term plan, because it seems like they would have done it, but
I know. Well, I'm trying. At the end of the day, I think the more information that's out there, the better for everyone.
Absolutely.
So everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we're actually going to be online tomorrow night as
well.
Yes, we will, with Michael Browning. So that should be a fun chat.
And people, if you enjoyed the show, hit the like button.
See, somebody's got to do it for me.
Yeah.
Thank you, little buddy.
Yeah.
Or-
Chum.
This
Chum.
is getting
Thank you,
confusing.
little chum.
Who's little buddy here? I mean, you guys, come on.
All right.
Anthony's
All right.
little buddy.
Who's the skipper?
Yeah, that's me.
You know the hat you should send, Mike. It's not the Thor helmet. It's the Gilligan hat.
Oh, for Bill? Or for Anthony?
Thanks a lot, Will. Thanks a
know,
whole
not
hell of a
bad.
But
lot.
then you can send him the skipper hat, Bill. You said you could get him back.
Oh man, you guys, everybody's going to get a really good laugh on Wednesday because we did a couple skits on Mike's birthday. He came over here and we shot a couple green screens that are going to have people talking about it for ages.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, just don't let the Nightbot put me in timeout, Bill.
He wasn't.
No.
He wasn't wearing a hospital smock or anything, right? It closed in the back. I mean, as long as it wasn't anything like that.
I can't say.
Come on,
Can't
we'll
say.
have a few laughs and have a good time.
Don't give it away, Mike.
I'm
Come on.
not.
It sounds to me like you guys had better been wearing masks. Is all I can say.
Yeah.
Right, we don't want this getting out that it was us, but no. Anyway, so the Nightbot will not get you again, Glenn. The all caps filter that I didn't know it had got you. It said something like literally, if you put more than 6 caps consecutive, it would put you in a timeout. So
You know,
it's
first it told me that I was like in error, and then when I tried to do it a second time, it told me I was in timeout, and I was like, oh my god, this happened in kindergarten. I don't understand. I thought for sure, I thought for sure there was going to be like some notice about I have to go sit in the closet when I claim,
No, I thought
I felt
kindergarten was you had to put your head down and take a nap, and they took your cookies and your fruit punch.
I was pretty sure that was coming next.
Yes, exactly. Well, I felt terrible because it was you, Glenn, because I knew it, and I couldn't do anything about it. We were rolling, and I'm trying to look at the Nightbot settings. I couldn't figure out why you were blocked, and I figured there's got to be a thing here that lets me unblock somebody. Nope. Nothing.
What I had to do was I had to sign out, and then I had another Google account. I had to sign in with the other account.
Well,
Hey, Bill, can you put up ML's post, please?
Which one?
Nightbot, say nay. Yeah.
Oh God,
Mikhail, yep. Thank you, man. But anyways, that is corrected. I actually left it on, but I set the caps in a row to something like 100, and the timeout for you was actually, I think it was set to 300 seconds. So it would have been a 5-minute timeout, and I shrunk that down to 20 seconds. So if by some strange circumstance somebody ever does it again, it will only be a 20-second timeout.
I
But enough to lose that round.
But enough to lose
that Cochran piece if I hadn't signed out and signed back in.
I know. So I apologize. What am I gonna do? I mean,
Berkey, do not let any of your art be a scratching post, my friend. I've seen that happen in comic stores. Guys that have cats and let the cats walk on the long boxes in the comic stores. It's like
people are gonna hate me for saying this, but both my cats are declawed.
Probably for that reason.
Yeah.
That's good.
I know people say it's anti whatever, but I said I'm sorry, I got to do it.
All right. My understanding is that cats like to pee on Justice League of America covers, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Or Thor pages. But
keep it high. Keep it high.
Yeah.
Or put it away.
Yep. All right. Listen, everybody, I got to call it a night. We will be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern with Michael Browning.
Who's our guest tomorrow again?
Michael Browning.
My
old pal, West Virginia.
Right. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I've only emailed with him. I've never talked to him before, so I'm definitely looking forward. No, just a few. Yeah, hit those like buttons. Thank you, Mike.
YouTube, folks, on YouTube, sign into YouTube and hit the like. People aren't sure how to hit the like. I said you got to get on YouTube, signed in, and hit the like.
Hit the like. There you go. All right, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
And it's trying to end.